obviously the more we post, like the more time. This thing just said live
Yeah,
now.
yeah, my
Okay,
boy.
I don't, I don't think it was live, but it's fine. I'll start it again. Um, but basically, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Modern Day Trader channel. If you aren't watching live and are watching this afterwards, this is our live sort of stream. And bro, what's going on?
Nah, my
What's
boy,
going?
me, I'm excited. Our first live, bro. Our first live. I can't fathom actually. Like things have moved pretty quickly, bro. Things have moved hella quickly. And bro, like la- life's been busy. This week's been busy, but all I can say is, hey, bro, we made it through half the week, and the market's
Yeah.
been pretty decent with regards to pound yen. So, and it's been pretty busy. So I can't complain. But yeah, bro, how you been? What's going on, bro? How you feeling about the lives? I'm fucking excited, mate. I'm not gonna lie. I'm hella excited, bro.
No, I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm also pretty keen. I was thinking, and I think it was this afternoon, I was just kind of thinking, yo, are we maybe trying to do a bit too much by like spreading the content out like over the course of the week? Because at first, I know when we started the channel, it was very long form. Like we were trying to basically replicate our meetings and do that all in one video, but that was quite like hectic on the post production and
Yeah,
the amount of time videos would take to render and all of that. So I, I kind of thought about it in that like we've almost taken like the format of our weekly meetings and now we're spreading that out in a way that I think's more digestible for us and like our schedule,
mm,
but then may also be a better way for all the viewers and stuff and anyone who's watching the content because it's shorter form content now. I think I'm keen for these live analysis sort of streams because it gives us a chance to touch base with the markets, when they live and not just breaking them down when, it's on the weekend and markets are
yeah,
closed because, at open or in those first, in that first day or two, a lot can happen that sometimes shifts your bias for the week, or invalidates your bias and then you reposition yourself. But anyone who's watching the analysis from the weekend is kind of
mm.
still on that bias from before market open. So yeah, I think pretty keen just to get these going, and yeah, we will be doing them every week. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, bro. But it's been I think a good week. Easter weekend was good. It's my first week back, so I was on leave last week because of my exam. So, and then wasn't trading for the past 2 weeks. So it, I think it didn't feel as long. I think the past 2 weeks not trading, but then
Mm.
coming back into the markets now, it's kind of been weird. I won't lie, Doug. Like you think it's gonna be like a smooth transition, like just back into it, but you kind of like forget elements of your trading plan. Like my first trade actually violated my trading plan, like not in the actual analysis itself, but just with taking a trade during like a news event and small things like that where you think you'll remember it because 2 weeks isn't that long, but then it's certain things you overlook. And then so for me, I've taken two positions so far in the week, both losses. Been catching hands this week, bro. Market's just
Hey,
not fathoming me. It's not recognizing me. But I think it's on the flip side, it's kind of like okay, glad these losses have kind of like woken me up, and I'm now like referring back to my plan like more and more and trying to just trade in alignment with it. But I mean, two trades in a week for me is something I haven't done since like
hey,
so I'm happy with the frequency of like the trades that I'm taking. I'll go into them in a lot more detail in the weekly review, but now it's good to be back in the market, bro. Good to be kind of getting back into a flow with how things are moving and yeah, just getting some movement on the account. Trade wise, how's it been? How's it looking on your end, Doug?
yeah, bro. Firstly, I want to say, hey, bro, it's been a minute for you, so obviously just allow yourself to like get crease in there, bro. It's probably a bit rusty there, as you mentioned. So it's been like 2 weeks since
Yeah,
you've been out the markets. So yeah, roughly 2 weeks. So I think it's like just about getting in and like allowing, if the losses come, the losses come. But it's just like, as long as you obviously sticking to the plan, or most of the time, 90% of the time, sticking to the plan, and then just like letting it play out, bro. With regards to the trades this week, I think it's been good. I didn't trade on Monday being a public holiday, so I didn't necessarily look at the markets too much. And then on Tuesday, stepped in, and I think Monday, I don't know what happened in the markets Monday, to be honest with you. I don't know if it was news or whatever the case may be, but I saw that like pound yen fell out of the air on Monday, and like Monday I had a big bearish candle. And when I got to the markets on Tuesday, from a 4H perspective, I was anticipating pullbacks or corrections of some sort, just due to the fact that price action had pushed so much to the downside, such a big impulse, and the way it slowed down like had indications of pullbacks to me, and that was enough for me to start anticipating that price action could give me like a buy setup on that particular day. And bias was good, bias was decent, and yeah, took the buys played out. And then today I took 2 trades, which have been a hell of minute since I've taken 2 trades, bro. It's been like, I don't know, since Feb, bro, because of the remake of the trading plan. So it's version 2 of the trading plan right now. Actually version 3, bro. So it's been a minute since I've taken 2 trades. And the first trade was a 1 to 2, but it got stopped out at break even. And then the second trade played out for 1 to 1. I sent it to you today on WhatsApp. And yeah, bro, yeah, that's basically been it. But also, guys, first stream, I want to shout out all the 4 people that's watching us, my boy. All 4 people that's watching us there. I just want to give a young shout out, bro. Youngest.
Wi-Fi shaky. Shaky. You back, bro?
Hey, was it gone there for a minute?
Yeah. Yeah, cutting in and out, bro. Cutting in and out, but I think it's stable now. I think I also got lost a bit on Wi-Fi. Wasn't looking like it was stable, but I caught most of what you're saying. I was almost just going to prompt you to jump on the charts because you were basically explaining how it's kind of been moving. But do you want me to just jump on and get it going?
Yeah, you can jump on, bro. Jump on. Oh, I was shouting out the 4 people that are watching us, Sam, bro. That's what I was doing. I was like, hey, shout out to all 4 the Oaks there, boys. We see you.
Shout out, shout out. Yeah, so let's take a look at it, guys. Always start on dollar index. Obviously, I think just for us that gives us a direction in terms of what the dollar pairs are doing. Majority of the pairs on our watch list are dollar pairs, as you know. So and GJ, to be honest, has quite a strong correlation with Euro USD. So yeah, just starting on the dollar. Still bullish at the moment, but right now I think correcting lower to this high value area that I marked out here. Momentum over the past couple of days, yeah, has been quite bearish, and it looks like we're going to close pretty bearish for the day. Just dropping down to the 4 hour. Definitely testing this level here, which is, I've marked it as a 4 hour, but it honestly more of a 2 hour structure. But on the 2 hour, we've already broken it. 4 hour looks like it's testing it. So it looks like we're getting that high time frame shift, which will, I think, just give confirmation to that deeper pullback on the daily. So I think just for this week, definitely seeing a bit of dollar weakness. And I'll stop there. Won't really go much lower on dollar index just because it's not a pair or not an instrument that we trade. It's just to give direction to other pairs. But already, post this, I'm looking at essentially dollar weakness, dollar cross pair strength. So dropping down to Euro USD. bearish. I think just looking at this level that was broken here, and obviously the new, well, this leg that broke that, and then obviously shifted daily structure bearish, were bearish. But once we've broken, I'm then anticipating obviously a mitigation of our points of interest, or where the move started out of. So anywhere out of this area, but I don't really look for POIs on the daily. I think I'm just trying to determine, the way structure's playing out and what's that and how that's going to inform sort of the bias. So we've broken structure to the downside, but this week I'm seeing that correction before we then continue lower. And I think that lines up quite nicely with what I'm seeing on dollar index in terms of a weaker dollar this week, which then means stronger Euro USD or Euro USD buys, at least for the week. And dropping down to the 4 hour, we can see the structure, essentially the same structure that is almost breaking on dollar index. Let's go up again for USDC. This same area here has already broken on Euro USD. So I think we'll see that follow through on dollar index. But Euro USD has put higher. I've just marked out the start of the week just to, that's just for me to keep track of how volume is sort of entering the market in the week in terms of, that accumulation, manipulation, distribution. And we can see we obviously started the week very low momentum to the downside. I see this as that manipulation and then the distribution to the upside. So ran that liquidity, which was last week's lows. So yeah, that's what I'm starting to consider now time-based liquidity. And then broke structure to the upside. That was just the Friday daily high with good momentum. So confirming that structure to the upside. I think for the rest of the week, once we get that break of structure, I'm then looking for the correction or pullback into a point of interest and then continuation to the upside. So yeah, it's a bit of a waiting game now. Obviously, the direction for the week's been confirmed, but there's no entry as yet. I think even if I just drop down to the lower time frames, there's nothing that I'm seeing at the moment, unless we start to form more structure from this point here and trade higher, where we can then correct into to take it higher. The only place I'd be looking for entries is this POI and then taking that higher. So bullish on Euro USD, but waiting at the moment, depending on obviously how quickly price either gets to this level or forms a new one. Probably only look for an entry on Friday, if not early next week. USDs are our problem child. Yeah, relatively corrective on the daily, but there's always, I feel, a method to the madness on this pair. But what I'm seeing for this week, at least, is price gravitating towards these levels here. Seeing that third bottom there, could it be part of some sort of left shoulder head, right shoulder, and then this is that neckline potentially? I think that kind of remains to be seen. Disclaimer: I don't really trade those types of patterns, but I think, like I explained in one of our first videos, just the trading journey video, there's been so many different strategies that I've kind of learned over the years, and patterns was a big part of it. So it's hard not to see those types of patterns, and I'll use them almost as like a confluence to support my kind of trading analysis and how I get to at least the higher time frame biases, but don't really use them for lower time frame entries. So yeah, looking for price to come lower on USD ZAR again. Like that, the dailies lining up quite nicely with the dollar index. And on the 4 hour, we can see price is steadily making those lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower high, lower low. So we are definitely trading lower. And similarly to Euro USD, looking for pullback into that 4 hour level. This could pass as a 2 hour level, but it's formed quite nicely on the 4 hour. But again, seeing this, I think, correct over the next day or so, and either late tomorrow or potentially early Friday, looking for continuations to the downside. So short on USD ZAR out of this POI here, with about 1885 as kind of that protected high level, where I'll see obviously structure shift if we break that to the upside. So yeah, bearish. I must actually just change this tag because I was initially bullish on that earlier in the week, but we've shifted. So yeah, that's bearish on index, bullish, yeah, bearish USDs are, and then to be honest, shifted again. Quite a bit of volume coming today. I think it was some unemployment data, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was ADP, your non-farm something. It wasn't NFP. But yeah, that made quite a few, all of the pairs actually except US30 move quite a bit, and we shifted structure on most pairs. But looking at GJ, high time frame is still bullish. I was bearish early in the week. I think just because of how we had started to correct lower, looking at price coming down into these high value areas on the daily, just as part of this larger correction before either continuing to the upside or breaking lower. I think that just remained to be seen. On the 4 hour, not much structure. I had marked out theoretically where structure should be, just based on the previous pullback before the last run to the upside, but not not a lot of significance that I'm putting onto this area here. But we are still trading above it. High time frame is still bullish, and I guess as of the previous 4 hour candle close, we've pushed to the upside quite strongly. So the one loss I took, which was earlier today, actually was on GJ, out of this area where I was looking to short the pair. Well, where I did short the pair. So yeah, it completely demolished that level, and we've created new structure to the upside. So again, like the other pairs, I've got my structure, got my POI, looking for the correction down into this POI, this 4 hour POI, and then obviously a shift on the lower time frames, and then entry confirmation on my micro time frames. Alternatively, we form structure just as a continuation. For example, if we just retest this breakout level and continue higher, then I'll obviously plot my new POI and look for price to come down into there before going higher. So bullish for the rest of the week, could correct for the rest of the week. But again, I think it was dollar index, but I mean, all of them have had similar movements. Got the accumulation, manipulation. We ran these lows. These were, I think, the weekly lows last week. No, they weren't. They were. We did run here. Ran those lows and then distribution to the upside. So after that distribution, looking for mitigation of the POI, and then continuation to the upside. Then the last instrument that's sort of respecting the weekly analysis. In terms of but it seems more of a deeper correction at this point, I guess, unless until we break this high value area. But we had a double top from here. We've pushed lower. We can see yesterday's daily close closed below what is that neckline essentially. I like that we wicked above these previous highs and didn't close above these previous highs before then essentially forming this evening star kind of candlestick formation and trading lower. So, and then dropping down into the 4 hour. The anticipation for the week was to always break, this 4 hour structure here. It wasn't a very strong break to the upside, but it was structure nonetheless. So we've broken that good momentum, and now we're coming slowly correcting higher before either continuing lower from this lower time frame supply, which is 1 hour supply, or coming all the way up to the 4 hour and then pushing lower. So, whichever one it is, if we come into the 1 hour and I get, all my entry criteria, then I'll look to short this. I think I like that it lines up quite nicely with the break of structure. So I'll be looking for this to come up. This is already a lower time frame structure. So then I look for my entry criteria, run of liquidity, break of structure, and then get in on the limit order to the downside, targeting these equal lows, and those are also my 4 hour lows. So that would be the only TP that I'm targeting. So yeah, that's looking good. Wasn't affected much by the employment data today, but yeah, I think with NFP on Friday, I'm never normally in the market during NFP. I doubt anything will change this week. But I think just running through the pairs again, essentially bullish on Euro USD, looking for longs, bearish USD ZAR, looking to short that, Pound JPY longs, and US30 short. At the moment, though, bit of a waiting game, nothing that I'm taking today. But potentially some setups for maybe late tomorrow, New York, but probably Friday, if any. It would be Friday. But yeah, I think shaping up quite nicely. Liking the movements I'm seeing in terms of trying to monitor that what I call that AMD, maybe not what I call, but what I'm just trying to study at the moment, that accumulation, manipulation, distribution, just on different time frames as well, seeing how it plays out on over a weekly sort of period, then sort of scale down and look at how that plays out in the daily over various sessions, but then also looking at per session how that plays out. And I think they kind of refer to that as quarterly theory. But yeah, some very cool concepts and cool to see it playing out. But yeah, at the moment, 2 trades, both losses, potentially a few more before the week ends. How's it looking on your end, Brody?
I think I pretty much agree with everything that you said, bro. Like, in terms of bias, it's pretty much all the same, to be honest with you. I just wanted to jump into Forex Factory before we move. And I know you spoke about the non-farm employment change, and it came out positive, hence the movement today. So yeah, and then like the things that I wanted to point out was the unemployment claims that's going to happen tomorrow at about 2:30 South African Standard Time, and then also non-farm payroll on Friday, as you mentioned. So there is like a heavy news week still left for USD, and like I think there's going to be quite a bit of movement in Euro USD, and then also US 32 with obviously with these numbers coming out. So yeah, but jumping into the charts, guys. So for me, I think
Brody,
DXY.
sorry, Doug.
Yes, sir.
Maybe before you start, if there is anyone from all five of you that are watching who would like us to break down any pair, then just comment it. There should be a comment box somewhere. And then when Marcy's done with his breakdown, then yeah, we're very keen to look at any
Yeah,
pair that you guys got on watch. Yeah, just to see how that's looking for the rest of the week. Shot, bro.
any
Sorry
pay,
for
guys. Any pay.
interrupting.
Nah, no problem. No problem. No problem, bro. Yeah, guys, we still relatively new to the live streaming thing. So yeah. But yeah, comment down below or comment in the comment box. It's not down below anymore. It's on the right hand side. Comment on the right hand side. What pay you want us to analyze. If it's outside of any of the 4 pays that we analyze, just comment it and we'll go ahead. Jumping into DXY, I
Mm.
I was questioning myself with regards to your level that's in and around these areas for the break of structure, and the only reason why I was questioning it is because I don't I don't know what these candles are, bro. I can see there's a stall in the market, and as you know, like in order for me to have a level in the market, there needs to be at least 2 candles in the opposite direction. Now, these things, I don't know what they are, bro. These doji candles, bro. But because I didn't know what it was, I went for the most obvious area. And to me, the most obvious area was the 104, the area that's marked out here, the 104.12 area.
Mm.
And the reason why I'm using that as my areas, as I mentioned, is quite clear. And you can clearly see that we had the impulse out of that area to form the higher high. Now, price action at this point could be bearish. Of course, if you're anticipating that this is where price action would have shifted, you still need the 4H close in the next 30 minutes, but price action could be bearish right now. And the reason why I'm not putting too much weight on DXY at this moment is just because Euro USD and DXY doesn't, in my opinion, at this point agree, because I'm anticipating that DXY is still bullish until we break invalidation point of 104.012. So when I jump onto Euro USD now, you'll be able to see that price action shifted bullish already. But the reason why I'm
Mm.
anticipating something somewhat like this, although on the at this point, price action right now is bullish. The way price action moves is in impulses and corrections. And so I'm anticipating that now we had this impulse. What's going to happen now in the next 2 days? What could potentially happen? In my opinion, the potential of after a higher high is made, your anticipation order flow should be for a higher low to be made. Now, we don't know when that higher low is going to be made, but what we can anticipate is that when we get into areas of the market where price action could potentially bounce off from, i.e., this area here where we had clean imbalance, and then we have, in my opinion, something that reflects and mimics DXY as an area in the market. We have a point of interest where I'm not saying I'd potentially take a sell immediately out of this 4H point of interest. What I would do is, if price action do start slowing down in and around these areas, where is my arrow? Where's my arrow? Okay, the arrow is not there. Yes, if price action do start slowing down in these areas right here, what I can then anticipate is that if I'm on the 15-minute and price action start, because I can tell you that this 4H candle has 16 15-minute candles in it, and it started ranging. So in the experience that I have, if overnight price action does something like this and it slows down and forms 2 to 3 4H candles moving forward, that slows down and moves into the area. And tomorrow morning, you get to the charts and you anticipate the price action is going to break structure on the 15-minute, 30-minute, or 1H, and we get that break of structure. To me, this would then tell me now that the 4H has now formed a high, and I can start anticipating the higher low to be formed on this pair. And that then means that once we get the pullback and we form a new low, we now have a downtrend on the lower time frame. And I can start anticipating entries from these areas here to bring it to the downside. And rightfully, Sam pointed out that we're bullish, and we are bullish on this pair. But as I mentioned, in order to take this is quite a bit of pips, and we have a big imbalance in this candle. So from around that area to this area here, we could fill all of that tomorrow, or we could fill it on Friday, who knows. But what I'm saying is that this right here is a tradable range that you could potentially trade and catch all the way down to these candles, or even down to the actual point of interest that it formed. And it could be a clean trade just by the way price action has formed. And so I'm anticipating the price action could, once we get into these areas, and shift structure on the lower time frame, which is very important. Once we shift structure on the lower time frame, we can then start to see price action potentially push to the downside. So that's what I'm looking for, guys. Now, if price action completely invalidates this and we continue pushing bullish, that's fine too. What I would then anticipate is a push to the upside, a pullback, a break of the new high, and then I'll start looking for buys from in and around these areas here. And that's all that I'm looking for. And even if price action doesn't form structure and it just pushes up and there's no clean structure, which I highly doubt, because if you do go to the 15-minute, you'd see that structure is already starting to form. And once price action do break these highs here, which it already did, we now have a higher low in the market that when price action starts shifting, you can now start anticipating bearish prices. But I would like to see price action push up a bit more into these points of interest and then start shifting to the downside to anticipate the higher low, to then take it to the upside for the higher high. And all I'm doing is I'm anticipating what could happen over the next 2 days and not necessarily over the next week or so. Coming on to pound yen. And I think what Sam pointed out on pound yen is that we are bullish, and I fully agree with him on this one. And I'm looking for buys too. But similarly, as Sam pointed out, there's a high chance that we could get a pullback into points of interest, which could be around here, or even, I don't think we'll sweep these lows, to be honest with you guys. Now, price action has remained bullish throughout this whole push. This was the impulsive move, and this is just this is internal structure for this impulsive move. So now what you can see is that we broke out of an area that we haven't broke out of for a very long time. And so what I'm anticipating now is that after this bullish push is a tiny, just the way pound yen moves is that this daily is going to close like this, most probably. And then you'll probably catch like Asian session pulling back, and then London session and New York session pushing again to the upside. So all I'm doing is I'm anticipating potentially a pullback to 50% at max, but I don't trade Thursdays because that's one of the losing days, as I mentioned in my quarterly review. So I won't be trading tomorrow. But what I'll be anticipating is a little pullback for continuation to the upside tomorrow and Friday. And if that doesn't happen and it just continues, I feel like it will eventually pull back and something to that sort will then happen. But all I'm doing is I'm looking for buys on this pair right now. We have the higher high and in anticipation of the higher low. And once the higher low forms and we shift structure on the 15 minutes on this pair, to me, the 15 minutes on this pair is very important. Once we start shifting structure on the 15-minute, we can then anticipate that price action is going to push to the upside. US 30 is quite decent. Finally, I think US 30 is looking clean, bro. I think US 30 is looking pretty clean, bro. Like, damn, Sam, bro. The amount of times that I've come to this thing on a Sunday and just said I just need to wait. It's so like it's been in this range here that it was in for time. And now we had the breakout. Then we had a pullback. We had a high. I know break and retest traders on this pair was living in and around these areas here. They said, fuck it. We had a breakout. We had a retest. We bought. We formed a higher high. And now what you can see is the price action had clearly broke to the downside. And so all I'm personally anticipating is I'm not going to look for trades from these areas. And I know a lot of people, Sam Hood, because he's quite confident in the fact that when price action gets here and it shifts structure to the downside, that he could anticipate trades out of that area. The reason why I'm not going to do that is because I like structure to be confirmed. And structure to be confirmed to me is when we break the actual low. So what we have is we have a high in the market, we have a low in the market, we don't have a lower low which confirms the downtrend. So in my rules, in my trading plan, is that price action needs to break a lower low or low in the market to form a lower low. And when that lower low is formed, then you have a full on trend. And then I can start anticipating the pullbacks to then trade out of those pullbacks. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the lower low to be formed on this pair on the 4H. And then once the lower low is formed, now guys, can you intraday trade this pair? Of course, this pair is amazing for intraday trading. This pair has hella moves. I mean, look at this 4H candle alone, and that was yesterday at 12, like New York session. That thing moved a lot, and I'm anticipating that tomorrow, with the news that we have uh, in USD, we should have a lot of movement. And you should see that in New York session, you should get a lot of movement in this pair. So day traders are going to be living tomorrow, or they're going to be losing. So, yeah. Uh, Jumping into Sam's baby USD ZAR. Hey, bro, just has a green X on the
This
side. I
man
guess.
put a
Hey,
whole X, bro. And
hey,
it's green
bro.
though, so we got the green light. We got the green light. That's all I'm seeing. That's all I'm
Oh
seeing.
shit, bro.
So
Yeah. Hey,
I'll
I
make
don't know,
sense of this
guys.
pair any day.
Sam, Sam makes the most sense out of this space. Loves the space. Been in love with the space since uni days. To me, it's just a big X, bro. Right now, uh, I think I'm gonna stay away from this pair. But ultimately, I agree with Sam. US 30 bearish, pound yen bullish, Euro USD bullish with anticipation of bearish movement, though.
Euro USD, you said bullish with anticipation of bearish movement. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yes,
Okay, I get you.
yes.
And something I picked up, but maybe before that, we got one comment from Dando. So basically, when we say bullish or bearish, that's basically just like the sentiment of the pair or the bias. Bullish is long. We see price trading higher. Think of like, and I know they always used to make these analogies. On like baby pips or something where it's like a bull, like really
Yeah.
think of like a bull and what a bull does. My head's doing things. And then bearish just means you're seeing price trade lower and come down low. So bullish buy, bearish sell, basically.
So
Um, so yeah, I hope that clarifies that. If not, babypips.com will sort you out, my G. So yeah, geez, while you were basically going through and was mainly USD, I realized that while the bias is the same, it's almost like subconsciously I'm not looking at those corrective moves because there's clear imbalance on this pair. And same thing I said in my weekly reviews, all of my trades are continuation patterns. And maybe it's the cycle of whenever I see, these distributions like this and new structures formed, it's like automatically I go into a mode where I'm like, I'm gonna sit on my hands until price gets into your, 4 hour POIs to take the continuation setup. But I do have a counter trend set up in my plan. And, I've got criteria that must be met. Obviously, I'll need to see similarly to what Marcy looks for in terms of that structure being confirmed. On the lower time frame, I'll look for that. So, just for example, I'm not sharing anymore, but essentially, I'd look for price to start pulling back on Euro USD where it is now. And if on anywhere between the 20-minute to the 2 hour time frame, we start to establish structure to the downside, then hey, bro, it's go time. It's go time. I can take those shorts. And you've
yeah.
got that confluence of imbalance because we had a lot of volume come in the market. I think it was post that news announcement today. So will be looking to get to that state of equilibrium and sort of fill that imbalance on a couple of pairs actually. Euro USD, USD ZAR on the 4 hour, GJ 4 hour. US30's got its own imbalance from another time that
Yeah.
is just unrelated to today, but it's got that confluence nonetheless. So yeah, no, shout out just for, I think, just also making me realize that it's not just those continuation setups that we should be looking for. There's definitely money to be made in the corrections, but they obviously, though, your high risk setups, just make sure that you have criteria that must be met that you're comfortable with when you take those counter trend setups, because there's always going to be setups left, right, and
Yeah.
center, and it's easy to find setups. But I think just for those ones that are maybe lower probability, just at least me personally, I like to have sort of that extra layer of like confirmation before
Mm.
taking those. So no, shout out, bro. Shout out. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's how we're looking to take the week, bro.
I
Um,
think it looks
we're
pretty
looking to close
clean,
it out.
especially with USD pairs, bro. Like it looks like there could be movement. And then even US30 is looking quite clean. The only thing that I don't
Mm,
trust about US30 is the fact that like sometimes it looks like it's forming structure and then it's just really a liquidity grab and it blows through previous highs that were formed. And yeah,
yeah,
that's why with US30 specifically, I'd rather wait for a new low to be formed. Uh,
yeah,
and then start anticipating lower prices because this thing is just mad, bro. This thing is
yeah,
crazy. But yeah, I think there's a lot of clean movement still left in the week and a lot of
yeah.
opportunities that people could potentially still take this week, bro.
No, definitely, definitely, dog. So yeah, no, I'm just keen to see how the rest of the week plays out. There's no comments, no pairs this week, but I mean, I think we'll be obviously posting either this in our story or in other videos. So I
Hmm.
think we'll just see over other posts or whatever if there's any pairs that um, that people want to see, and then we can add those. But this will be weekly, so yeah, let's see uh, how it goes. Oh, did you just highlight that? Oh, question from Nico. Do you guys see yourselves adding a segment on crypto to the channel? I'm gonna say no right now, but I guess we never know how the page is gonna
Yeah.
grow. It's not something that I think we'd spoken about or something that was like front of mind, but I don't see why not if we start to get heavily involved in
Yeah.
crypto assets. So yeah, I don't know. I think for now, at least this is my personal answer. Maybe keen to get your take, Marcy. For now, I think the focus is very much on like these prop firm challenges, and I'm not trying to deviate too much in terms of like the asset classes that I trade that are like have been in my plan right now. So I know crypto, I normally approach it differently, and the strategy does work on crypto, but it needs tweaking like anything. I think like US30 NK,
Yeah.
um, US30 like it's similar, but it's got its own tendencies. And I think crypto is a whole nother beast where it's got its own tendencies and not something at least I'm familiar trading the same way I trade, the other pairs on my watch list. So yeah, for me personally, right now, no, but definitely potentially. What about you, Marcy?
Yeah. I don't know if NK is particularly meaning like trading it in terms of like actively taking positions, or does it mean like looking at it from a higher time frame perspective to potentially like invest in it for like a couple months or whatever the case may be? uh but I know I still have like some coins and I still have like investments in certain cryptos. Do I think we'll necessarily go into it? I think it just takes a lot of time out of what we, as you mentioned, Sam, what our focus is right now. And I don't think you can have too much main focuses. Like if you split your attention across a broad spectrum of things, I think it takes away some attention that you would have been able to put into forex specifically, or like whatever we traded at the time, forex, US 30, but like into our strategy specifically. But once we have, I think once we have like everything on lock and we have everything, I think it opens up a lane where we could potentially go into that. I don't think, as Sam mentioned, I don't think we're opposed to it or anything, but
Mm.
I think for now it will probably be focused on our journey and how we trade and what we trade right now.
Yeah. Oh, well, shout out for the question. Shout out for the question.
Yeah, shout out Inka.
Sammy, so shout out Doug. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support in the comments also, my G. Yeah, appreciate that. Um, and then just for goodwill, this was the first comment that we got. So yeah, Brody,
Yeah,
think if there's nothing further, this was pretty dope. I'm keen, yeah, to do these week on week.
yeah.
Um,
Hit the consistency
uh,
saying there, my boy.
yeah, I kind of fucked it up a bit because I the first time I said it, it was like very like natural, and then I like tweaked it and I made it like a very like set thing. Um, and I must go back to it and think of it. It doesn't come to me straight away, but we will try it. Don't forget, guys, consistency is a choice you make when you start doing the things you know you should be doing day in, day out. Peace out.
Peace out.